Testing 1, 2, 3. Hello, everybody. We are live on the internet right now. My name is Colin Lowenberg. Nice to meet you guys. If you came here yesterday, you got to learn a lot of AI tools. We did a deep dive into MCP, Cursor, Zero, V0, Replit, and more. Yeah, let's turn that. Sharing my screen. All right, thank you. Sent. 1 second. There we go. So I'm also sharing my screen now with the both on the internet as well. So I want to welcome everybody to the Agent Camp. This is an exciting day for us because we've been building up the Agent Camp on as part of Dabl Club and the Venture Miner team. So I'm Colin Lowenberg. We have Mateus Pagani here with us today, as well as RJ from Emerging Tech Coalition. If you came to us today, you probably came from this Luma event, the Agent Bootcamp. We've actually gotten over 2,000 people to attend our boot camps around the world. And we've been teaching everybody about how to build AI agents. And we are sponsored by Polygon. So one of our biggest sponsors is allowing us to go around the world, spread the good word about AI agents. And the goal of that is so that we can attract the right builders to our ecosystem. And we want them to build agents in this bootcamp and then demo at our demo day and then go on to apply for a grant. There are 12 different Polygon grant programs. So we've decentralized the concept of grant making. So instead of giving out grants as one company making sole decisions, we have 12 different companies that are well-trusted companies, from Crossmint to Gitcoin to IoTex to Polybrain and the Quadratic Accelerator, which will help you launch a token, Angel Hack, which is one of the largest hackathon companies in the world, and Encode Club, which is similar to Dabl Club in that they go and deliver DevRel presentations. So my company is called Dabl Club, and what we do is we go and spread the good word about AI and Web3 around the world. So we help developers turn their ideas into action. This was something that we started 1 year ago today with ETH Denver being our first event. And we just got back from an ETH Denver hackathon last week. And we went on to win that hackathon. So not only do we go and teach at workshops, thank you. We decided to turn the tables, and instead of judging hackathons, we went to go win a hackathon. And we did that using a couple different solutions. We used Polygon. We used Omi, which I'm going to tell you a little bit about. Omi is an AI necklace that transcribes all your notes and gives you access to all that data. We also used MCP, or Model Context Protocol, to use which is an open source, open protocol that was developed by Anthropic, which is really changing the game. If you aren't seeing MCP in your feeds, you're not following the right people. So yesterday we did a quick demo of MCP. Today we'll dive a little bit into that as well. We're also going to have RJ from Emerging Tech Coalition come up and teach us some more. And we're going to have Prem AI. We have Joshua from Prem AI who's going to be speaking to us. So he's our really big featured guest today. So I also want to give a shout out to Mateus Pagani from the Venture Miner team, who has led these boot camps around the world. We're going to continue hosting the Agent Bootcamp here in San Francisco, but you can also go watch online. So if you want to find all of our past Agent Camps, you can go to agentcamp.dev, and on agentcamp.dev, you'll see all of our first entire month of boot camps was focused on ELIZA. Who here has heard of ELIZA before? Great. So ELIZA, for those that don't know, is a framework for building AI agents. It's struck up a lot of popularity lately because it's it's a truly open source project that anyone can contribute to. So hundreds, maybe thousands of developers have contributed to the ELIZA project and created their own plugins, enabling the ELIZA agent framework to do more than what an LLM does, but actually connect your LLM and these superpowers to all of these other plugins, connect to other applications to have real world actions, which I think is what we're all about, real world agents. So in the process of building out that agent camp for ELIZA, we realized we also have a lot of other things to teach. So this camp is not going to be focused on ELIZA specifically. We want to give you a wide breadth of all the different things in the space. So we're going to have Prem coming on today. We have Grok tomorrow. We're going to be talking about Omi and Polygon and more. So if you want to see what I built for my hackathon, you can go to actionitem.app. And you can also go to the devfolio.co, and you can find the EthSF hackathon that's going on right now. But first, I'm going to show you what we built in Denver. We took my job is as a DevRel, I go around and I talk to a lot of builders every day. I talk to probably hundreds of builders per day, and they all give me their ideas. And there's a community of DevRels around the world, probably 500 in Web3, that all talk to each other, and we all have the same problem. How do we keep track of these conversations? How do we turn these conversations into actual contributions? How do we get them to build open source? How do we get them to build companies and create those ideas into action? So what we did was we started using omi.me. You can go to omi.me right now, and omi.me is a AI necklace that will listen to all of your conversations, transcribe those into text using DeepGram in the cloud, and then it sends that text into a vector database called Pinecone, and uses all of that text, all that gigabytes and gigabytes of data that you capture each day are then made available via retrieval augmented generation, or RAG. If you guys have heard of RAG, how great. So we pipe that into OpenAI, and now you can ask OpenAI anything about yourself. So I'll see if I can actually do a demo on my phone. Yesterday it didn't work, but maybe the Wi-Fi works for us now. But essentially, I have a screen on my an app on my phone that has a list of every single conversation that I've had in the last 6 months. And all that data is accessible at my fingertips, but I want to bring that data out. So what we did was we went into Omi's docs, and they're a company just down the street. So we also partnered with them and got some devices from them. And I'm giving out a lot of these devices around San Francisco. I gave them out in Denver, and you can actually go into their developer docs, go to apps, go to developing integration apps for Omi. And so what we did was we created a trigger. So every time I had a conversation, when that conversation ended, a webhook is sent. And that webhook sends all of my conversation data to our server. And we took that server data, we displayed it live on a website. It's kind of crazy to put all of our conversations live on this website. You can see literally our dev team is talking about doing start and timestamps, and hey, maybe we should talk in English because a lot of my team is actually in Mexico City. But we wanted to turn that into something we called memories. So I can see here I have a setting up Uber Eats API with an OpenAI key. So I can see, oh, I got a 404. Sometimes demos don't work. So I see all my memories are flowing into this website. And then my builds, out of that, I actually generate builds. Let me see if I can pull up my demo video. Demos never seem to work when you want them to work, you know? Let's do action. So we have a nice demo video on DevFolio. DevFolio is a hackathon website, so you can actually see what our project looked like when it was up and working perfectly. So you can see all the projects that we capture show up in a project page. So we can actually track every time I talk to someone, if I find a project, it lists it on my project page. We felt like that's not enough. Like, I can capture contacts, I can capture projects, but as a DevRel, my job is to help you build what you want to build. And so we realized the best building tool out there right now is using Anthropic 3.7. Who here has used Claude today? Great. So Claude is by far, or at least by most people's standards, the best agent for coding. So the best agent for creating code for yourself as a software engineer is Claude 3.7. And Anthropic also built out an amazing product called Model Context Protocol. You can Google Model Context Protocol, or you can go to modelcontextprotocol.io, and you can get an introduction to it. Model Context Protocol makes coding kind of like a side job, right? So it seems a little scary to think that we might be replacing engineers, but you're not going to be replaced if you learn how to use the latest tools. So I recommend to you, and this is what I started with yesterday, is go learn Model Context Protocol. This is the glue that connects AI, connects an LLM turns it into an AI agent to actually have real world connections to everything. So Model Context Protocol can connect your LLM to any number of services like Google Drive, Airtable. Imagine it as a Zapier. Who here has used Zapier before? Yeah, everybody's used Zapier. That's great. So I see Model Context Protocol as an open source, open protocol for Zapier with AI. And you're going to hear later today. Oh, hey, Purple. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to hold my dog while we talk. That's great. This is Purple. Say hi, Purple. So I want to get you guys started on Model Context Protocol, and we'll dive into that. But what we did was we took Model Context Protocol and then we took it to the next level, and we started building out everything that that developers wanted, and we literally started building the code that they wanted to build. So if you tell me your project idea, I will go and actually start building it. So as you come into our screen, see, you can see I have these are all my memories right here, and I collect those memories. I can actually fund an idea from the site. So using Polygon, I can fund that project. I can like it on chain, and I can put tokens in to actually fund that project. And then that project, I can then go and add agentic features. So I can go and say, hey, I want to run an agent that helps do marketing for this, and it'll go do tweets about the project. That's something that I do when I meet someone great. I tweet about their project. Someone had a really cool event in Denver. I tweeted about it, right? So, but also sometimes I want to just start contributing. I really like an idea. I want to go build. So we created a little build button. So if I click this build button, automatically it jumps into this is my Klein. Klein is an extension for VS Code. So I'm showing you my VS Code right now. And if you click the build button on our page, it automatically starts building whatever you want using MCP. So we basically give a prompt to Klein or to Claude Anthropic 3.7, and it triggers not just creating the application, but creating a structure on GitHub. So who here has had to, deal with GitHub issues, right? Okay, great. So you know how important it is to have the issue in the first place. You can't start working until you have an issue to work on. So what we did was we actually started by creating all the issues that you need to create on a GitHub project, and basically detailing out what the development workflow would be for someone. So rather than giving you like a piece of sample code that's not customized for you, or just a getting started guide for how to use Omi or how to use Polygon, we said, why don't we just actually start building the project for you? Let's give you a sample code based on your idea. So this MCP server will actually just generate all of that code, basically give you a starting point for your code base. And you can then take that code and go build your project. So this was our idea that helped us win ETH Denver Hackathon. You can see built at ETH Denver and winner. So we're really happy to come home with a prize. But at the same time, what we want to do is not just build our company and win prizes. We want to build a community. So we built a community leaderboard as well on top of that. So if you go to our action item site, you can see our community leaderboard. This is fake data right now, just to be clear. But as you go around wearing the Omi, we want to reward people for actually capturing projects and building projects. So if you go and have an idea, or you meet people that have ideas, you're contributing to the open source project, and you're contributing to our community. So we create a leaderboard and actually give people points for creating ideas and helping create code. And then on top of that, we plan to launch a bounty board. So we'll put our own money, not just compute, which we have to pay for the Anthropic. We do have to pay it for the credits to run Anthropic, but we can also pay people to go build and review the code and test it. So we built out what we feel like is the future of DevRel and how we can build open source projects. Now, this is just my idea for a hackathon. There's a hackathon going on right now. There's actually 2 hackathons I want to tell you about. And you are invited to use my code. You can go to Dabl Club on GitHub and go to Dabl Kit, and you are welcome to fork our code. Take my whole project, go build whatever you want, continue building with Omi. I'll help you get a device. And if you want to build something like this, I will help you work on that. My team, actually, some of my team members might be here too, so it'll be exciting to have them. So today, we are in the middle of 2 hackathons. Right now, Ethereum San Francisco. Who here is already signed up for the Ethereum San Francisco hackathon? Okay, great. Everyone who's not signed up, do you know what Ethereum is? Yeah. Okay, great. I didn't hear a resounding yes, but raise hands. Who here holds some Ethereum? Okay, great. If you don't hold Ethereum, I'm not going to blame you. but it's down right now. Good time to buy. So Ethereum San Francisco is a whole week of events that's happening right now. And you can go here. There are co-working spaces all over the city that are opened up and hosting events. In fact, tomorrow, everyone's going down to Stanford, or actually there's a Stanford day today at 4:30. But our agent bootcamp is every day this week because of the Ethereum San Francisco hackathon. And you can go sign up for it also on DevFolio. So EthSF is a big hackathon, and they're giving away $29,000 in prizes. Coinbase developer platform has an agentic focus, and you can actually go. One of their prizes is $5,000 for the most innovative use of the agent kit. So we'll get to agent kit at some point this week, probably on Thursday. You can also go and hack on Zeta Chain or Reactive Network or Self Protocol or Base. I encourage you to use Polygon, but we're not sponsoring this hackathon. We are, however, working closely with Omi on another hackathon. So if you are excited about the concept of voice AI and creating applications that access these gigabytes and gigabytes of data, or you just have some questions about the privacy concerns around it, I'm happy to answer questions, but I encourage you to go join the hackathon. You can join our Discord channel and you can come and talk to the team directly. The prizes are $50,000. So the top two teams will get $25,000 each. And the goal is to build an AI mentor. So I really like this idea because I struggle sometimes with keeping track of conversations, but also keeping track of all my action items. So I encourage everyone to jump in and dive into the OMI hackathon and the EthSF hackathon. I also want to, point out that you can scan this QR code right here to get links to everything that I just talked about. And I hope this was a good intro for the day. We're gonna dive into the code a little bit. I can come back and do MCP server if we have a need for it. We have Prem coming on and we have RJ coming on. Mateus.
Well, thanks a lot, Collie. Yeah. Well, we are in the second day of the bootcamp, getting ready.
Francisco. I like to say that, San Francisco is being called a tech city. We're not a tech city yet until we can get this in the hands of the community and everybody here as a whole, and give access to everyone from the ground up. So I want to talk a little bit about today. Talk a little bit with you guys today about prompt engineering. I don't know if you guys have heard of prompt engineering, but I don't like to call it that anymore. I look at prompt engineering as something where it's just a few things that we got to really think about here. There are like 6 different categories, and I call this prompt structure. There's really a prompt structure when it comes to prompt engineering. And this prompt structure here allows you to get the best output from a prompt. Go ahead. You need to see the screen. Hold on 1 second. Is that better for you? Yeah, great. So here I'm on Replit, and I want to be able to show you guys something of how they do a little prompt structuring. So I can put something here like, let's see, let's make a sports app. Make me a sports app. Actually, make me a sports blog about the Golden State Warriors. Who here is a Warriors fan? We're doing really, really, really good. We got Jimmy Butler. Now we're 12-1 since we got him. Amazing stuff. No. We got some anti-Warriors fans here, but that's okay. We're going to see you in the championship. So let's do a little sports blog about the Golden State Warriors. I can hit here, start building, but over here, this is very simple. We want to be able to stylize this. We want to be able to provide more context. And let's see how Replit does it. Replit here is an IDE that allows you to build online, but also what's really cool about them is that they have a coding agent. 2 different ways that you can build with them. They have a coding assistant and they have a coding agent. Right now I'm using the coding agent and I've hit this little magic button that improves your prompt. If you see here, it says now a web-based blog dedicated to covering the Golden State Warriors basketball team, featuring news, analysis, and updates. So right here, it's showing you format, and it's providing how this format should look like. Core features: display blog posts with titles, content, and publishing dates. Browse articles by categories: news, game recaps, player profiles, analysis, featured/latest articles section, article section on homepage, search functionalities for articles. And then we also have here visual references inspired by the Athletic and SB Nation's clean article layouts and sports-focused design aesthetics. This right here is an example. That's part of the categories for prompt structure. And we even have a style guide to help us understand what we want also for the format. We have colors, Warriors blue, Warriors gold, and white. So let's go ahead and start building. So the coding agent here, the underlying LLM being used is Claude 3.7, which Colin touched upon. This is just another way that we can go ahead and provide more information to the LLM so it can get the output that we want. Yesterday, Mateus actually touched upon this with how to make a better book. And I really like that example. What he had was show a high-level overview and made that into a markdown file. He also had examples of different writers and had that into add that into a markdown file. We can also add that into prompts. And this is one way that we can go ahead and do it. So if you see here, I'll analyze what you're trying to build. It's building the initial prototype. Let's just go ahead and approve the plan. What's really cool is that they set you up with a plan, and then you can select extra options if you want. You can go ahead and just start building right away and see Claude do its thing. So it's designing our app right now. Let's go ahead and make this bigger for you guys to see. If we make this a new window, let's just maximize this. Great. Now we have this in Warriors blue, Warriors gold. It's creating a blog for us. You know, it has all the news, game recaps, player profiles, analysis, latest articles. We now have here, oh, it's even providing pictures. That's awesome. Oh yeah, go ahead. Replit is something that I've become accustomed to. I like to look at it as when you build with something, I just choose one, and then I go ahead and continue to build with that and get more, get better at that. So I know that there's There's Vercel's V0. We have Cursor. I actually use Cursor as well. You know, I graduated from that. We also have Tailwind CSS, or actually not Tailwind. What is it called? Windsurf. Windsurf is another platform. Used to be called Codium. Another one is Lovable. You have HeyBoss.xyz. There are all these different tools. I like to go ahead and just pick one, get really good at that. The same way that I choose LLMs. You know, there's ChatGPT, there's Claude, there's Gemini. I, in particular, like Gemini. And I can tell you why I like Gemini is because of the context window. You know, all these other, you know, ChatGPT, Claude, they have a context window of 128,000. I like to look at that context window as RAM. That's like the memory available for it to remember your conversation, right? So you only have 128,000 tokens for it to really remember the entire conversation that you're having with it. Something like a Gemini has the ability to remember up to 1 million tokens, up to 2 million tokens. So you're getting a lot of the output. You're getting a lot that you can work with. If you want to write an entire book or write an entire piece of code, and or like build a bigger project, that's something that I would choose to use rather than any other LLM. So thank you for that question. So building on Replit is just really cool that you get to see this right away, especially with their Claude update. Like you have pictures here, you have this showing the last score. These aren't correct. This is something that you have to go ahead and build, but you have a template with something to work with. And all that took was for a prompt to be structured and improved, which is already built into Replit. So I think that's another cool feature that Replit has. Now, I want to go ahead. I wanted to show that as an example so I can talk a little bit more about the prompt structure and what that looks like. When I talk about prompt structure, I think of this in 6 different categories. You have the context for what you want to build. So this like over here, I wanted to build a sports app. I didn't want to just build any sports app. I wanted to build a sports app about the Golden State Warriors. That's the context here. You had the task, which was to build the sports app. So that's the second category. These are the two most important. And then it was given that prompt was improved with format. And format is here showing how to do the analysis, or to add the analysis, to add player profiles, to add these latest articles. So now I'm giving it direct instructions and telling it what to do on and how to format my page. And then it also provided examples, and examples where a couple other websites with it, which it had knowledge of using the LLM's mining of all the internet data, to then take inspiration from those different websites and apply it to this one. So that's a fourth one example. There's a fifth and sixth one that you can add, the fifth one being tone. So I can have this being more of a curious tone, or more of a professional tone, or more of a more of a sports or fun related tone. So I can provide different ways where it can show the information. Or I can add an expert to this. And this expert being, we call that an avatar or a persona. So we can go ahead and say, not only can you create this blog, but write blogs for me in the form of a professional blog writer, in the form of Stephen A. Smith from ESPN, or Michael Silver from Yahoo, right? So that's calling on an expert in order to get a better prompt output. Great. So let me go ahead and show you with proper prompt output that we can. One second. Lost the page. Oh, it's still building the page. That's why it won't close. No worries, let's create a new page. I wanted to be able to show you guys an app that I've built for Mission Hiring Hall, using this way of prompt structure in order to create a better output. I've created job readiness tools for Mission Hall hiring, and using this, I've created resume optimizer, an interview chatbot, as well as a video interview practice chatbot. So if you see here, this resume optimizer, we can optimize your resume by putting this in, matching it to a job description, and it shoots you out a new resume using those keywords from the job description to have a better outcome with your resume to then apply to that job. So that's one tool that I've made for Mission Hiring Hall. We go back. We also have an interview chatbot. And this allows people to, using ChatGPT's GPTs, to upload their resume, upload their job description, upload a cover letter, and even the profile of a hiring manager and executive from the job that they're applying from on LinkedIn, to then get questions tailored to them to better help them prepare for the job interview. So it'll help them get ready for example, this is for construction, to be a nice kind of construction administration professional. This will help them with a project manager role. Now, I've been able to even apply a video interview practice. So imagine that your interview is going to be on Zoom. You can go ahead and start a practice session. What this does now, it uses facial recognition using RoboFlow to be able to understand and analyze the confidence and engagement that you have with the hiring manager. So it knows if you have a neutral face, a positive face, or a negative face, using computer vision. And then it also captures tone analysis. And all this I was able to do with Replit through natural language. So if we go ahead and start this interview, the camera here is set up. So I can go ahead and continue to talk, it has a question. Tell me about your experience with value engineering. It's saying that I have a negative face right now, so I need to smile more, right? So it's actually going ahead and doing its job. It shows here on my facial expression, confidence is 50%, engagement is 50%, the neutrality is going up, but it's going ahead and showing you this through real-time analysis, and then it will provide a report for you at the end. I just wanted to go ahead and show you guys like the power of being able to use natural language and being able to say that in a way where you can get the output that you want based on the prompt that you give it and the direction that you give it and the context that you're going ahead and giving it as well. So just remember those 6 things. Go ahead, Alex. Yes, I did build this all with Replit, yeah. So it's, Colin goes on about MCPs, right? I'm able to do that and connect different APIs using Replit. So I'm able to connect, for example, this computer vision one. I'm using a model called RoboFlow. I'm building a computer vision model from RoboFlow, inserting it here with the APIs. So it's calling that model. So that's what it's using to recognize my face. Yeah, so right now it's, the conversation that I had with Replit for this. 1 second, because I went ahead and, hold on. Well, I just want to show you guys something else that's cool. It has voice recognition as well, or it's transcribing everything that I'm saying for the question. So this would take later that transcribed response and then grade that response later on. All right, so I'm trying to pull up some chat history. So I'm just going step by step with this. So you're just looking at like I was showing you the Warriors app. You saw that there are little bug fixes there. Like there were little links that were broken. So I would hone in on that link that was broken and make a chat of it. And say, for example, here, I fixed the look on mobile. It should be logo on the left, links on the right. So now you're able to see, okay, if you're just testing this on the phone, what it looks like, and then you're just asking it to move buttons around. So the way I look at it now, it's like, hey, look at this as a CTO manager. We're over here now managing these coding agents. We're going to be managing, this is how I look at how we're going to be dealing with agents and working with humans, is being able to talk to the software and having that software do what you want just by using natural language. It's the same thing that we'd have to communicate. So this is one of the things that I also talk about with different workshops that I have, is that working with AI is inherently human. So we have to understand communication. We have to understand leadership. We have to understand how to delegate these tasks to these agents. We have to be able to communicate this output. So right here, I even put stuff, I'm trying to test it on my resume and then try to add that to this job readiness tool. So yeah. No, I actually built different Replit bots. Or different REPLs within Replit. So, and it all just connects it and links it all together. And then I created this as a job suite. So now it's available for Mission Hiring Hall. This is something they use every day. So it's really cool. They use it for their CAPSA program, with their construction administration program. And this helps them actually get jobs and apply for jobs. So it's just something that's actually actionable, and you can build this with Replit. So yeah, if you guys have any other questions, I'm RJ from Emerging Tech Coalition. Thank you for having me, Mateus. And yeah, I'm glad to be a part of this.
Yeah, that was cool. I'm excited to see what you are going to build now. Okay, good. Next slide, we have Joshua. This mic is, see if I can fix that. Joshua from Prem AI. We're going to see about using custom models, right? Come forward. Huge round of applause for Josh, people. Thanks for coming, Josh. You are in the link, right?
Yeah, I'm in it already too. And just want to say thank you to Matthias. Thank you, Dabl Club, Colin, RJ, everybody that came and presented it already before me. So just get my computer set up right in time. But during this workshop too, right? You guys can follow along or just watch whatever way you want to. But I'll go over the agenda a little bit, but I can tell you a little bit about what we do at Prem AI before we get started. At Prem AI, we are a research lab, but also an AI product company that focuses on empowering all different types of developers to create custom models. I can also plug in. Yeah. Oh, on the StreamYard, right? Got it. All right, let me just quit out some apps. Yeah. Oh, okay. Is this better this way? All right.
Because the mic's pretty here, so it's out and then I shade it live.
Okay. Wait, what should I unplug it? Sorry, it asked me to mirror or do some other. Sorry, guys. What'd you say?
I can just.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Cool. But we're good, right? All right, awesome. So awesome, yeah, we're all set up now. So I lead developer relations at Prem AI, and we focus on AI research, and also we have a few different products to help developers, businesses, enterprises, you name it, create custom models. And we have a bunch of other different tools as well that you can utilize, from built-in RAG, our autonomous fine-tuning agent that will autonomously fine-tune different AI models for you, so you don't have to be a machine learning engineer. You can be any developer that you are, web developer, backend developer, any other specialty to ship production apps without having to have the data science or machine learning expertise, and just let the AI take care of all the complexities that we've already developed. So in this workshop, we're going to be building our own specialized model with some data sets that I have provided for you. This is just going to give you a brief introduction to how to use Prem, what use cases you can use it for. And even if you're a developer or not here, you should be able to walk away with how to use the SaaS product at least. So just like by a show of hands here, just so I have, understanding of who's in the room, like how many folks here are developers or know how to code? All right, great. It's a good amount. So at Prem, again, like we have a SaaS product, but then we also have an API and SDK. So developers can use our SDK in TypeScript or JavaScript and Python. We also have an API, so it just makes things language agnostic. We don't really care what language you use, as long as you can use Prem. It doesn't really matter to us. So again, like we're a developer platform that offers automatic fine-tuning. You can optimize and customize models in a safe and secure environment. So a lot of our research has to do with privacy and sovereignty of AI models, so that you can own the models that you create and not have to worry about large hyperscalers or other frontier model companies taking your data. And your data is yours, your AI model is yours, and you can also download the weights from the custom models that you create from our platform and take them anywhere that you want, which is super powerful. So for today, we're going to build our specialized model with Prem. First, we're going to try out the Prem Lab, which is our playground for us to play around with different AI models. So we have access to reasoning models like DeepSeek R1, R1 Distilled from our folks at Grok, who's also sponsoring this whole bootcamp series as well. We also have the ability to connect your models to RAG. We all have a built-in RAG pipeline feature as well, so you don't have to create a whole RAG pipeline, generate embeddings, and do all the whole nine just to enable to do some type of semantic search added to your AI models. We're going to show you how to collect traces, monitoring, get into the autonomous fine tuning with a data set, and then I'm going to show you how to launch your fine-tuned model, or even just some of the frontier models from Anthropic, GPT, Llama, wherever, to production in any type of application. And we'll do that with a TypeScript app, like really simply. So first things first, let's sign up for Prem AI. You can use the QR code, or you can just go to www.premai.io and just sign up through the sign up page. And then from there, what I also want you to do is head over to GitHub, and I have a workshop datasets repository there. It's just datasets that you can download for us to test out the fine-tuning agent as well. So I'll give you guys a minute or so. I'll give you like 2 minutes or so, just kind of get signed up for Prem AI. And I'll check in a little bit with you, as you go and sign up and see where you are, so we can get started with the rest of the agenda. So I'll leave this QR code here, but premai.io, just head over there. The sign up is in the top right corner. Just sign up with your account and let me know when your guys are ready to go. So yeah, it should be right here in the top, and you'll be brought to this project page when you're done signing up and sign in. So just let me know when you guys are all ready, and I'll just head over here back to the slides as well. And in the meantime, I can just tell you like some of the things that are being created with Prem now. I'll share with you towards the end too, so you can have access to how we're utilizing some of these models and how companies are using it as well. We have a project at Prem actually called BitGPT Network. So just in accordance to what's happening here for EthSF, BitGPT is an agent network for Web3. So it's a Web3 wallet that you can actually talk to. It's a whole agent. And you can trade crypto, check on your different stats, and so forth without having to manage a bunch of different wallets. And it works across different chains. So I'll give you the password towards the end, just so you can have time to sign up for that later down the line. But it utilizes fine-tuned models from Prem and small language models to operate the entire agent network that we have to work with all the Web3 wallets and so forth. We work with financial compliance companies like Grand. Grand uses our agents as well to fine-tune models in order to stay in accordance to financial compliance within Europe. And then we're going to be able to scale that throughout the world as well. Is everybody signed up by now or getting close to it? Cool. All right, so first things first, we're going to test out things in the lab. We'll get to the autonomous fine-tuning, traces, and the launchpad. So the lab is like pretty simple, right? You're able to simultaneously test out 4 different models at a time to see and compare their responses based on a prompt that you have. You can also change like, params and add repositories, which are just our way of RAG. And we'll get into that in a bit too. Traces are just where you can see the performance of every single model that you have interacting with the SDK, API, or within the SaaS itself. So you can see how the model is performing, what was the input, what was the output, and then also just see how many tokens per second or so forth that you are operating with. The autonomous fine-tuning, really easy to get started. You just choose a base model, a name, you drag and drop your data set in, and you're pretty much on the races and you can go. And then the launchpad. This is just where you can write a system prompt when you're ready to bring your fine-tuned model or even with some of the other base models to production, you just click launch your model, add your system prompt. You can add actions, which are just a really easy way for us to do tool calling. So if any of you are familiar with tool calling, sometimes it requires like a really long set of JSON plus your function and so forth. But with what we have at Prem, you can actually just add actions, which is just a menu that you can sign in through different authenticators. Let's say you want to add Gmail. Instead of having to write a long chain of tool calling, you can actually just click in, sign into your account through auth, and then you don't have to add any code. And then you can just connect it to your model through the Launchpad, and it's pretty much works like magic. So let's get into the actual platform itself. And I'll actually switch over my org just so you guys can see what it looks like when you sign in for the first time. All right. So when you sign in for the first time, you probably won't see any projects here at all. So we'll just go over here to our new project here. We'll add a new one. And we can name this one like Windows customer service or whatever you like. You don't have to use the data sets that I'm providing today from the GitHub that I shared earlier. And if you need to get to the GitHub, just look up Prem AI DevRel on GitHub, and you'll see the workshop data sets there. But I'm going to be building a Windows customer service AI agent that just is able to take certain questions from a data set about fixing and debugging Windows computers. You can ask you different questions. Again, you can use pretty much any data set you want, and we'll get into like the formats of that later. So this is just what I'm going to be naming it as well. Right now, we only support text as a modality. We're going to be soon adding in text to image as well. But for right now, we're just focusing on LLMs and SLMs. So once we create our project, we're brought over to the setup page. And the setup page just goes over installation methods, either if you are using NPM or if you're using Bun or if you're using whatever runtime or package manager you're using for JavaScript. Same thing for Python and so forth. So this just goes over like different usage. So right now, like Prem AI uses the OpenAI spec. So across all different models that we have, just to give you a familiar feel of how to write code for Prem using the API or SDK. We also support streaming, depending on the model, chat completion, of course. And then we have, through the API and SDK, you can work with different optional parameters like changing the temperature, the system prompts, and so forth. We also have RAG as well. So when we create a repository, you can drag and drop PDFs, doc files, even code files as well without you having to generate your own embeddings. We'll take care of it. And then also on top of it with RAG, we have the ability to utilize an existing quadrant vector database if you have that already created, or if you have data in AWS S3 or Cloudflare's R2, you can connect those as well to Prem so that you can utilize the data that you have stored in those buckets and use them for retrieval augmented generation. So pretty much like a lot of the functionality that you'll see here today, you can utilize through the API and SDK. But for right now, we're going to focus on how we're utilizing the SaaS to create a custom model. So what I like to do first when I'm creating a custom model with Prem is to go to the lab. This is what I talked about earlier. The lab is your space to experiment with multiple models at a time. So right now I'm just have like GPT-4o mini and GPT-4o, and then I can add different models as well, like Sonnet. I can add like, let's say I wanted to add like Llama 3.3, which is provided by Grok. So if you want to use a lot of these other frontier models, you have to have the enterprise version of Prem. Right now, you guys are all signed up with the free version, but you will have access today to utilizing the autonomous fine tuning, and you'll be able to have, I believe, like 2 fine tuning jobs that you can use to test out. But we do like offer custom like usage-based plans for enterprise users as well. If not, you get like 100 requests per month utilizing Prem and some of the models that we have. Yeah.
Like, we just step back for a second, which I just want to back like if you were to think about like when you request data from, like when would it happen? Like the last mission example on the job estimate.
Yeah.
When would he just come back?
For sure. So well, the purpose of Prem is to fine tune models. So a lot of these models that are already pre-trained already have data that is already pre-trained from whatever sources they're getting them from. Whereas Prem, if you are working for a company that has proprietary data, or if you have data that you can't find on the internet that's not trained on, you can utilize Prem and the fine tuning agent in order to create that type of experience and fine tune your models with that type of data. Absolutely. Yeah, and you can still utilize OpenAI models and fine tune some of them, which will be coming to the platform as well, on-prem as well. So like we are a proxy for models. So you don't necessarily have to have you don't have to be adhere to vendor lock-in with us as well. So you can fine tune your own models, but if you want to access OpenAI, Anthropic, Llama, Quen, all these different types of models, you don't have to carry around a bunch of API keys all over the place. You can utilize Prem itself and you can still have access to all those models. So if you didn't want to fine tune it, you can, but if you want to hot swap models, use them for use different models in different projects for different specific features in your application, you can do this without having to overspend, and you can just keep everything within one code base as well. Right now, I would say like competing wise, there's some other competitors like OpenPipe. I think they do a great job of fine tuning for production apps. There's Together AI. In some cases, some people see us like, in the past similar to RC, but RC is much different now. They're more of like drag and drop, small language models where it's like the drag and drop module where you can connect different agents together. So it's kind of like Langflow from DataStax, so is a little bit. But we focus a lot heavily on small language models as well, because this is where, when we're fine tuning, that they're distilled to these fine tuned like open source small language models that you can then download the weights and do whatever you want with, which a lot of our other competitors, you necessarily can't, I haven't seen them be able to do as well yet. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we actually are working on updating our pricing as well right now, but it's all usage based on the amount of requests, how many fine tuning jobs that you have, and how much memory you need in your repositories to store for RAG as well. So when you talk to us, we'll give you a quote on how much we can provide to you per month as well. And we have some big partnerships on the way with some hyperscalers as well, where we're going to be able to scale this up much larger from where we are now, and we're going to be giving a lot more GPUs. Bespoke, yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. So we're not using like OpenAI fine tuning endpoint or anything. We have our own clusters and GPUs that we utilize for this. And again, I can't say who yet, but we have another partnership that we're going to be announcing soon with a big hyperscaler where we're going to be getting access to utilize more GPUs as well. And on top of that, with Prem, as you're fine tuning the model, you'll be able to download the weights and do whatever you want with them when you're done fine tuning them with us. And we're having a GRPO as well that's going to be added within the next couple weeks for fine tuning. So you can't import another model from elsewhere into Prem if that's what you're asking. However, like you can download the weights when you are fine tuning the model within the Prem SaaS, and then you can export that to wherever you want. So if you want to put them on Hugging Face, you can. You have the freedom to do what you need, what you want. Yeah, you'll still have to. We have a list of base models that you can use, and the list is growing. We have like base models that are SLMs from Llama, from Quen, and we're going to be adding more as well. Absolutely, yeah. You have to use the open source model. Yeah, because we do like, and I'll get to your question soon. Yeah, we definitely like the basis of our company is like on proprietary sovereign models, and we don't think that like OpenAI, Anthropic, all these other companies. Although Anthropic does promise a lot of things with privacy, this is not where like some of our customers necessarily turn to or always have some type of like weird feeling about leaving their data with Anthropic, OpenAI, Google, and so forth. So we offer this open source way for you to utilize it, and we don't we don't send any of these fine tuning endpoints to them. We have our own clusters, and you can download the weights and run off and do whatever you need to with them. Yeah. Yep. So we're not fine tuning any of the closed source models. We can distill from the closed source models into fine tuning to the SLMs as well. So we're using Loras right now, but then we're also going to have GRPO for all the other reasoning models that are coming out too. Yeah, that's a good question. So the trade-off I would say is that, like, of course, we're distilling into smaller models. So sometimes you might not have the most like smaller models have a bad rap for like accuracy sometimes because the larger models are much more general. But through our fine-tuning process, like you have the ability to come back, continue to optimize, and we have a bunch of other tools on top that you can use too on top of the fine-tuning, like RAG, that's easy to use, and you can do all the tool calling that you need to as well. But I would just say like one of the other trade-offs is that this is not going to be distilled into like a larger model. We have like models that are from 1 billion parameters all the way, from even like 500 million parameters all the way to like 9 billion parameters as well. And our list of these other models that we can distill to is going to be growing. So we will be getting a little bit larger because I think the whole sentiment of what a small language model is completely changing now. Like I just remember when BERT and all these other models were like 500 million parameters, and those were SLMs. And now, like if you talk to some companies or you talk to some folks, some professionals, they're like, "Oh, 9 billion parameters is a small language model," or 70 billion parameters, or 13 billion. Like I feel like the number is always changing. So we're just adhering to whatever, like, of course, what our users are saying, what they want, and just trying to keep things in a cost-effective way. And that's what small language models allow us to do. Keep it cost-effective, keep it fast, and keep it like I would say focused on a certain subject rather than having a large context window with a lot of general knowledge. Yeah, of course. I'm sorry, can you repeat that again? I couldn't hear you. So our rag that we use underneath the hood is from Quadrant as well, and you can also bring in your own like vector database that you have hosted from Quadrant. And we're looking to Yeah, quadrant, QRDANT, quadrant, those guys. And you can also, they're open, completely open source. So you can use us like straight from our interface, and you just drag and drop your files in. Or if you have one that's hosted on there from their cloud service, which is also I also recommend as well. You can just add your credentials in, which I'll show you in a bit, and you just add the credentials, and then you just connect to your cloud from them, and you can get ready to go. We like Quadrant because they're completely open source. I mean, I use Pinecone, I use like Weaviate, all those other ones too. But we like the guys at Quadrant and what they're doing, and we find it really easy to use. So you have the option for us to be that layer, or you can have your own too. And when it comes to the fine tuning part as well, you can always come back and optimize, add more data sets, and do what you need to do. So I would say like overall Prem, we try to adhere to the developers, the folks that are adjacent to these roles in business and so forth, so you can utilize the SaaS and all these other tools that you're probably going to be using to build a custom model as well, within the same interface or even without. So if you guys have any other questions as well, feel free as we're going through, and I'll be glad to answer. But this is the lab, as I was saying before. Really quickly, this is like a fun feature that you can go play with. I could just ask a simple question: what is agentic AI? And every single model is going to have its own different kind of response, of course, right? Like each one of these models is completely different from one another. But I can compare the answers. And I can also go here and just continue to swap models. I have like DeepSeek. We have, oh, lost the screen. Okay, thanks guys. Don't know what happened. It says I'm sharing, but I think it's not on the stage. Thanks. Yeah, it's just not on the stage. The screen. No problem. Thanks. All right, cool. Thank you. So, as I was saying, like you can go here and compare your models. You can continue to swap them out. This is like the stage that I like to just start out with, just to see what some of these other like frontier models are saying. I can come in here and each of these models and add a system prompt, change the max tokens, the temperature for like the creativity and the randomness, and continue to add that through. And you guys can have fun playing around with this. I don't necessarily have to add any system prompts or temperature now. It's not the main purpose of this workshop, but I think it's something you should just get used to. We also have repositories, which is super interesting. This is like where all the RAG stuff happens, and I can easily just go and add a repository here. Now, if we go here to this little folder here on the bottom above API, this is where we can go to repositories. So I can create a new repository, add a name, a description. If I want to, it's optional. And then from there, I can pick a connector if I wanted to. I'm just going to do manual for right now, but you have connectors for S3 from AWS and R2 from Cloudflare. And then we also have the vector store type, which is the Prem Vector DB. Again, this is like our version of Quadrant under the hood. But then if you wanted to do your own self-hosted Quadrant DB, you can do that. And when you click that there, you'll have your app URL, your API key, and then from there, you'll have to just sign into your account, and you'll be able to connect to your self-hosted DB for Quadrant. You have the ability to choose default RAG or hybrid RAG, and you can also choose your embedding model for all the vectors. It's pretty simple to set up. And then I already have a repository here. And you can just add a document if you want to. So I can just drag and drop any type of document. I can browse files here if I'd like, and like just find something. I don't know. I have like my lease here, but I'm not going to put that in. But I have a bunch of other stuff there as well that you can add in. And if you want to add a PDF, text file, Markdown, Bash, Zish, JS, TypeScript, Py from Python, whatever you name it, you can add, and you have a file size of 10 megabytes as well from there. So repositories are great because then I can just go here to the lab, add a repository as I add my documents in, and then each one of these models, I can add different repositories as I grow my list. And from there, I can give knowledge to my to each one of these models of whatever documents I have stored within the repository. And I can do all of that without having to generate embeddings, connect and integrate a vector database of my choice. All of that is just really easy and ready to go. Yeah. Mhm. That's a good question. It's not necessarily on our roadmap right now. Probably for, I would say, like maybe Q3 or so. Right now, we were really focusing heavy on our autonomous fine tuning, and we have another big announcement too as well within the next couple of weeks as well. We have good relationships with the folks at Vectara, DataStax. Definitely have to get in contact with the folks at Pinecone right now, and Weaviate too. Right now, we're really like just focusing on the open source side of things. RAG was always been like a big discussion for us, either if we're going to continue to keep the RAG or ditch the RAG or anything. I'm in favor of keeping it because it's so easy, and I think that our users really love it. So right now, we haven't really had any discussions on like what's the timeline for these other ones, but it's always been part of our overall discussion for what we're going to do with RAG. Yeah. Oh, is it? It might be because you're on the free. It says 0. Okay. I would have to go and add on our admin manually. So probably not through this workshop, but afterwards, if you come to me, you guys, whoever wants to use like RAG and whatnot, just give me your organization, which will be at the top here, and I can give you access to RAG and give you like 5 repositories to build up. Yep. Cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a good question. So repositories are not linked to projects. Each repository has its own ID as well. So as long as you have your own ID for your project and your repository, it's just connected to your account, you're able to access repositories when you need to. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. They'll have their own. They can have their own project as well. The project is really just based on like what the model is as well. But yeah, you can do it that way. We have another client that we're working with right now that's the same question, same thing. So you're able to create. Yeah, you would have to designate the repository ID and the project ID that way. So right now, I would say like, yeah. So like that's one other thing I think that from feedback that we've been getting as well is like, can we make that a lot more streamlined for people with like, a bunch of users that want their own RAG, their own vector database, their own project as well. So that's been on our roadmap to just to make that a lot simpler instead of having to continue to walk around with a bunch of IDs from the project level and also from the repository level. Yeah. Yeah, because the client that I'm speaking of right now too is actually like a Web3 client of us that has a Web3 like social media app, like a desktop app, which is pretty interesting. But he has thousands of users that he wants to give each and every single one its own vector database, its own projects. So right now, like it's a bit like it's a bit strange. He has to go from like IDs and from the project level and from the yeah. Yeah, so that's something that's actually been on our roadmap now to get resolved soon. So hopefully, I think by the end of like Q2, that should be something that we can ship over. Yeah. Just naming conventions, nothing special. I used to work at Wix a while ago, and people always like ask these type of questions with us. It's like we had databases. Databases were called like what were they called? They were called like collections and like other things, and just call it database. Like no one, you know what I mean? So it's just name conventions. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. All right, so that's the lab. And if you really wanted to, you can just have an individual chat with the lab with each model. So I can go here and like have a chat with GPT-4 or Code Llama or Gemma or any of these ones, and it'll be by itself. Yep. Well, I think that would also depend on like inference as well, because we have different inference providers from Grok and Fireworks and Together, and we're finding ways to consolidate that all, especially with our new partnership that we have coming up too. So I don't know. I think it just really depends on the model that you're using to know like what that time would be. Okay, so that's the lab, and here are the traces. Now, traces are just an easy way for you to see the input and output of your model. Um, you can see like a system prompt, the max tokens, the temperature, everything that you used, and anything you link to like repository wise and so forth. We also have like the polished data, and you can see the raw data as well, which is also like useful if you wanted to utilize that to create a data set or something. You'll see like stats like what the name of the model was, the timestamp, tokens per second, input, output, the ID of such. And from there, let's say before we even have a fine-tuned model, you wanted to launch your model to an application. You can go to the Launchpad, which is this little lightning bolt here. And you'll see that you can still swap your models. So if I wanted to choose like, Llama, and I wanted to change my max tokens and my temperature. So I wanted to change my temperature, add a system prompt. You are a assistant, just to do something quickly. We can also add repositories here, and I can also add actions. So the actions are all the different types of integrations that we have. We're going to be adding a lot more soon, and especially with all this MCP stuff that's happening as well. We're going to be it's in our roadmap now to add more integrations. So we have things like Slack, Notion, Gmail, Google Calendar that you just add the integration, and you add your credentials in through the different auth windows that come up. And from there, let's just say I want to do this really quickly. I think it might open another window. Like I would sign in to GitHub and so forth. And I can add that integration. And I can do all that tool calling without having to actually write any code at all, which is pretty powerful. So it'll be right here in this integration section. You guys can add whatever integrations you like to your model as well. Just sign in with your accounts to these providers. Now, if I want to add that to here, you'll see in actions, I already have Gmail that's already there. So I can have this just help send an email through Gmail, add a system prompt, add a repository, and I can launch my model. And then from there, I just take my ID of my project, and you see I can go back to the setup page here, which you'll find on the left side. And you can also see how to utilize this in JavaScript, Python. And if you want, you can go here to the bottom to the documentation to see how to use the API as well. And from there, I just import prem, add the client for new prem, add the API key, and then also add my project ID. And then further down the line, we can continue to add like gentleman in the back was asking about repositories. We can add a repository ID, the model name, and everything else. So that's how you get started with, some of the base features of Prem. So I would say that some of the highlights here are easy to use RAG. You can compare different models, hot swap them as you are launching them into your application in production. And then also on top of that, collect traces. And there's no vendor lock-in to all these other providers of these models, which is, sometimes can be really annoying if you have to track all these different API keys and have to work with pricing and so forth. But now let's get into some of the other fun pieces of what Prem is. We're going to create an autonomous fine-tuning job. Yes. No problem. So you can't create a project through the API. You have to go through the SaaS to do so. Yeah. So you're asking how to add a repository through the API. Yeah, okay. So here, I think this will be the fastest way for me to show you. If you go on the setup page as well, on the left side here, you'll see that you can add, like right underneath messages or however way you want to format your code, you could just add a variable here or a struct here for a repository. You add your ID, you can change your similarity threshold, limit, and so forth. And even from repositories, you can create a new repository from code as well, from the response, and just add a name, the organization, and you can also create documents and add them to the repositories from there, straight from code as well. This is also all within the documentation too. Does that answer your question? Are you talking about the launchpad here? Yeah, you can from here, if you want to use the launchpad, you have the option to write that code to add a repository or not. So from here, if I add a repository, I don't have to write the code to add a repository. It already will come with the launched model. But if you want to be a little bit more granular with how you want to write that, you can still use the SDK to create a repository, add a document, and so forth. Yeah, you can call it already, or if you want to add in, like if you want to swap it with something else, let's say you have another user that just wants to input their ID of the repository, you have the option to do that. Or if you have a singular application where that doesn't matter, just launch it and you can go. Yeah. All right. So, so here we can start with our data sets. And let's just get to this GitHub repository, and you guys can download the data set. You can pick whatever one you want. Doesn't really matter. I'm using the, let me just see the name of it again. I'm going to use the Microsoft support one. It's a JSON list. It's a JSON list. Yeah, hold on. Let me see. It's public. And I got some stars already, so maybe you might have typed it in wrong. Oh yeah, don't use the QR code to get there. Just use this because I figured that not everybody was going to use their mobile for it. Yeah. I can come over and see. What's up, bro? Hi. How you doing? See ya.
Is that an I? I think that's an L. Oh. Yeah, I. No,
Okay, yeah, there we go. Data sets. Yeah. So go on Prem AI DevRel, not on the Prem AI. So if we go to, we can just search here. AI DevRel. Oh, wrong one. And then let's just type here. AI DevRel. What was this?
RL or REL? It's REL.
Yeah, REL. Just type in GitHub slash dev slash, and then you go here. Workshop data sets. Of course. Yeah, it's an I, not an L here. So the Prem AI DevRel. So you can download the data sets from there. And let me just. You can have it on your local computer and just, we're going to drag and drop it into the SaaS and from there. Yeah, so for right now, we accept JSON and JSON list, JSON L, and it'll be like in that chat format for the data sets. Yeah. Has to be in this format for right now, yeah. And then we're also adding more fine-tuning features soon as well for, of course, like I said, gRPO and a few other different features to add into our fine-tuning process. Yeah. Yeah, for now, yeah. You can just, if you open your Visual Studio Code, you can just open up the file itself and find, you're using a Mac, so you can go to Finder. So I can show you how, like, let's say I wanted to open this up in Visual Studio Code like this. Actually, let me, what is it? Workshop. So if you were here in Visual Studio, you can just go and open in Reveal and Finder, and you'll have access to these data sets here. So you could just go here, or you could just go inside of Finder itself, and you'll have access to the data sets. So if you right click, reveal in Finder, you'll see it. Or you can just go to whatever directory you downloaded it into, and you can open it up just like how I have here in Finder, and you're good. All right. So so we're here in the autonomous fine tuning, and for this workshop, you guys should be able to do at least 2 fine tuning jobs if you like. You don't have to use these data sets. You just test data sets for you to try it out, test it out, see what's going on. If you have your own data sets, you can do so. Sometimes I have some scripts as well that like can generate your own synthetic data set if you wanted to, or if you find one online. We have our own like synthetic data generation feature that's happening in here too, that you can turn on, so you don't have to rely on your own. But first, with the autonomous fine tuning agent, at first this used to be like, you click the button and there's literally no human intervention. But from what we've heard from our users is that they want a little bit more granularity to how they're creating these models as well. So, we're able to create a model name, add a base model. From here, I can just say like, customer service or like Windows. Let's say that again. Choose a base model. So again, like I mentioned, we are distilling into small language models here. So we have the option to choose from, Llama 8B all the way down to Quen, like, 500 million parameters, or even to 7B as well. So we have a few different options, and we're going to continue to add more open source models that are a lot smaller for you to distill into. So if I just chose like Quen, 3B from Quen 2.5, that's fine enough. And I can also set the training depth. Now, the training depth does not have like a slider with the amount of numbers for it. It's really just kind of like on a feel-based kind of thing. So if you want deeper training, you'll have a deeper trained model that just yields higher values and is more specialized on the data that you are training it on. However, this will take longer to fine tune. Or you can set it towards the middle and also bring it all the way down to a quick training depth as well, just to get by really fast. Whatever you like, you can choose whatever you think is right for whatever model that you are creating. I'm sorry, what does it do here? So we're taking our JSON data set we're using right now, like Loros behind the scene. We're going to add more fine-tuning processes later as well. But we're fine-tuning it on different data. Right now, I'm fine-tuning it on a data set that has to do with Windows customer service stuff to help people that are debugging like Windows computers. I have another data set that's inside of the repository that I shared that's on geography. There's another one in there that's just a funny one for Harry Potter spells and like other stuff like that. So we're fine tuning depending on whatever use case that you want as well. So you don't have to use these data sets that I'm using. There's plenty of places to get data sets across the internet, or you can synthetically create your own, or create one by hand as well. So it really just depends. Like I mentioned earlier, just in the light of like what we're doing with EthSF as well this week, one of our projects that we have, BitGPT, is utilizing Prem right now. And it's using Prem's fine-tuning agent to help fine-tune to create a different agent that acts as a wallet. So you don't necessarily have to manage a bunch of wallets on different chains. It's just a AI agent chat interface that you can trade different cryptocurrencies on. So like it's depending on whatever use case you want. So you can fine tune on anything. Yeah. JSON-L should work. Let me see here. Yeah, it just worked. Which data set did you really? Yeah, maybe try again, or I can send you over this. It should work, and it worked for him too, right? Um, yeah. So your fine tuning process started. I'm guessing you already started to fine tune, right? Yeah. So we'll go through the it will go through the data augmentation phase first. Then it will get into the fine tuning, and then the fine tuning will be done, and then you'll be able to export it into the lab and download your weights. And I can come over and see if you what the format's like. Oh, I'll come around.
Here now. You see, I'm going to system setup here.
Yeah, I like your setup. I was like, this is really cool.
So this is the file itself. I did a curl download, but it may not be longer to fill. Yep, it's downloading a whole bunch of HTML as well. So let me try a different way of downloading it.
Yeah.
Something that it inserts in HTML.
Okay, so you're. It's just based on like the role of like the role assistant, that and so forth, which will just definitely change on the data set that you have and the quality of the data as well. So not all the evaluations are like extremely important, but it's just giving you the visibility on what what exactly you're doing. For sure. 50 is good. We just had like a crazy like week of regression testing with one of our big partners, and some folks were throwing in like 30,000. You know what I mean? And we're a small startup, so our amount of GPUs that we have right now before we transfer over to the hyperscaler we're working with, it's going to be a lot different. But they were throwing huge data sets, but we suggest like start with 50, and then you can always come back, continue to optimize, and see kind of where it goes from there. Yeah. Better data, better model. That's like our motto at the startup. The better the quality, the better the model you're gonna produce. Yeah, exactly. The API for fine, you can go to the API reference. Okay, I'll take a look in a sec. Let me just bring this over. Yeah. So one of the things that we've done as well, and I'll be open sourcing this soon too, which is like I have another like script that I wrote that can take those large amounts of text and put them into that same format, and kind of go through there. That'll work with the model. But we are also going to have more formats in order to fine tune with, instead of just JSON and JSON-L for right now. Another thing that I also, should have mentioned as well, beginning here, like this isn't in full production yet. We've given you guys access to this now, and we're gonna have like this is right now just like in this closed beta to utilize as well. We'll have more formats, that you can fine tune off of. Yeah. So that's essentially where we're getting to. And this whole process of this fine tuning agent, what we're developing right now for this is the entire interface is going to change where it is more agentic. It is more of like you having a conversation with this model rather than just inputting some of this granular data. And you'll be able to then upload that type of data that you're asking about now. So that's what the synthetic data generation that's going on now. So you'll see, like, let's say I think with this data set with the Microsoft one, it's like 50 data points, and then this is gonna you'll see like depending on the fine tuning job, depending on your the training evaluation that you have, this is what's going on. It's creating those the synthetic data points as well. So you might end up with like 900, more data points that are synthetically generated off of the original data set that you put in, and you'll be able to download that synthetic data set as well, and also re-download the original data set that you had as well. So you'll have the choice to do that. So this data, it really depends. The data augmentation phase is always going to depend on what your training depth was from the very beginning as well, plus the fine tuning. No, we have our own models in the back doing it for us. It's not going on the web. So yeah, we have our own like custom models that are doing it for you. Yeah, I mean they're based off of a lot of these pre-trained models that have a lot of the information. I mean, I would say a lot of the pre-trained models now are really well, kept up to date and so forth. But it's not doing like any type of deep research online right now to like find that data for you, which is honestly like a cool feature that we can bring back and talk about. Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And like I also mentioned before, like this whole interface right now is subject to change soon, where it'll be more agentic, more conversational of how you can fine tune these models. So I would say like you guys are already pretty far ahead. I think most people that I saw so far have already started their fine tuning jobs. And so you had a question? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Oh yeah, I mean, well, RAG is more of like a semantic. It's more of like a semantic search, right, on the data that you have. Whereas, like we're fine tuning, we're taking an existing pre-trained model and adding more data to it, right? So it's a lot different from just utilizing RAG. And on top of this, you can also add RAG to this fine-tuned model that you have if you have any other like existing documents that you wanted to, semantically search through the vector database and give you information about. Yeah. So I'll just start my fine tuning process too, but I already have one that's already done. So we'll go through there. Let me switch back to, as this is happening here with my data augmentation phase, let me just switch back to my other org so you guys can see. Hey. Okay, cool. Thank you, bro. Just sign in real quick. Obsidian. So right now, you guys, are most of you already in the data augmentation phase, or if your fine tuning job is already started? What's it looking like now for all of you? Still? Okay. how it's distilled over from the closed source model to the fine-tuned model that you're going to be creating, or yeah, because like we're not fine-tuning necessarily from like any of those other closed source endpoints, right? We have our own like GPUs right now that we utilize, and we're using LoRa's as our fine-tuning process for this. Then we're also going to be right now. I don't know if it's this week. Right now we have in dev, but we'll have like GRPO within the next like couple of weeks or so, as well, like as a fine-tuning process for all the other reasoning models that we're working with too. Yeah. So if like everything that's happened with DeepSeek, that whole fine-tuning process, like similar to that. For a while we were working off of in the beginning we were working with like eight GPUs, like eight H100s, and we're continuing to like upgrade, and now we're getting access to like a lot more that we're doing a migration of right now. So the fine-tuning process is going to be a lot faster. You'll be able to handle larger amounts of data. Like I mentioned, like the last regression test that we did with one of our partners, they were throwing in data sets that were like 30,000 data points, 50,000 data points, and just seeing how much we can handle with a small system. And soon we'll be able to scale it up to like, to millions. So that's the goal. Mm-hmm. So let me just present again. That's a good question. I would say like right now, we don't have a lot of like personal, like projects right now, because this fine tuning agent we haven't like put out publicly so much. But again, like some of the other like smaller personal projects that I've seen is people hot swapping and using the other like pre-trained models that we had beforehand. We've used it at different hackathons and so forth. I created recently like my own application, just helped me find apartments and so forth, like use RAG, it used the fine tuning stuff, which is like a cool way to like semantically search different buildings and so forth. So something fun that I did. Other than that, we don't really have like a lot of like fun personal projects, but you can definitely build them. But a lot of the people that we work with are just like in business and enterprises and so forth. Yeah. Financial compliance, healthcare, working with healthcare startups, financial compliance startups. We also right now are working with the folks at Marvel Studios. We have our own like custom models that we would make for them for a different IP that they have outside the MCU. But we're also helping with storyboarding, and outside of Prem too, we have our own like text to animation models and other thing else that we're working with them on as well. So they're invested in our company. So we have like outside of what we're developing on Prem, we have some side missions going on as well. So it's pretty interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So, the other thing too, I expect based on our roadmap now, like a lot of things are going to change within the next like couple months with what we're doing at Prem. The whole interface is most likely going to change too. Again, like with the fine tuning process, we are for sure going to make this way more agentic feeling, way more assistant type feeling. You know, we've seen within the last week, like what Manus is doing. It's pretty cool. You know, just being able to see when you prompt something and you can track the entire process of what's going on. Before, we thought abstraction was the whole answer, which in a way that it is. But sometimes people want to see all the details of how it's breaking down, what task is actually doing, and what things are being used. So that's where we're going with the whole interface of what we can do with Prem. So it might take a little while for all the fine-tuning jobs to get done. It won't take you hours, and it won't take you days, but it will be done, you know, probably within the next like 30 to 45 minutes. But we also have like not a large amount of clusters. So some things are going to be in queues depending on the training depth that you guys all chose. But you will receive an email within time that tells you that your fine-tuning process started and it also ended. So from there, when you are done with your fine-tuning process, you can go here to your fine-tuning job, click the ones that are successful, and you'll see here I have like some pretty good metrics from this one. Here's my data set. Here's my augmented data set as well. And I have the choice to download my model, and it will just download a zip file. So you see here, it's downloading a zip file here for all my fine-tuning weights. So from there, I can do whatever the heck I want with them. So if I want to bring them to Hugging Face, if I want to just use my own GPUs that I have somewhere, or let's say I have, I don't know, one of those new Mac Studios that's, you know, 500 gigs of RAM and all that, I can go and fine-tune off of there. And you can also go from here to try the fine-tuned model in the lab as well. So once I click that, I'll see like I have my actual fine-tuned model from Qwen 2.53B. And then I can also even compare it to the same Qwen model as well that was like originally pre-trained. Let me also just go here and show you another project I have too. So like from there, I can go and compare our fine-tuned model, which is this side over here with the FT Qwen, and then I have my Qwen 2.53B. And you can see like, of course, this is just a lot more fine-tuned towards our use case and the data set that we have, where this is just kind of like, has, of course, this pre-trained model like data, but it's kind of just like, you know, guessing, and it's not getting straight to the point. And I can continue to add RAG and change their system prompt and repositories. And it's really easy. From there, all I have to do is take my fine-tuned model, go to the launch pad. I can choose it here or choose a different model. Add a system prompt. Like, let's just say I just want to add a simple one like RA Windows debugging assistant, something like that. And I can continue to add a better prompt than that. I can add a repository if I wanted to. So if I had information about Windows computer debugging in my S3 bucket or anywhere, I can go and add repositories there with RAG and add the other integrations that I saw before. And then I just go here and launch. And then from there, for all of my developers in the room too, from there, all we need to do is get an API key from the side here. So we can create a new API key, add a key, give it a name. Let's just say I'm just gonna call it Gemini, right? Take my API key. And then from there, I can go to, where's my, let's see. I can go to a TypeScript or a JavaScript like application, whatever I want, or Python, whatever I want. And all I need to do is add my API key, of course, use your environment variables, and so forth. And then from there, I just add my project ID. And if I want to add things like my repository ID, I can just add here to the response sync, create a variable or a const, right? And then just add it there, and we'll be able to add to code. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. The screen here? Oh, what? That's weird because that's that's the one that's on the stream. Let me see. I don't know.
Moving around a bunch of projects.
It's probably lagging.
It's probably lagging, yeah. I mean, that's the screen that's up right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What's up? It's not. You see it there? But yeah, so I like to use Bun and like a whole bunch of other things. I have a project that I'm working on right now that's utilizing links from an old team that I used to work on at ByteDance. They created RS Pack, which is like a really fast React web bundler, and now they have this whole like React Native replacement called Links. It's really cool. So I'm working on like a project with a brand new framework that utilizes TypeScript and React and so forth. And you can just bring your model anywhere. All you have to do is utilize the SDK or the API, and you can bring your model to any application. It doesn't matter the language. If you wanted to create something in Zig and you want to use like Zig Zap for API calling, you can do that. If you want to use something in Rust or Go, it doesn't really matter. But it's not really so much about how well it is to obviously code with Prem. It's so easy. It's really about being able to bring these AI enhancements to your production applications really fast without having to have the machine learning expertise to fine tune the model. So expect a lot of different changes with Prem throughout these next few months, especially with the chat interface that's coming to the autonomous fine tuning agent. And for those who do want to utilize the RAG feature, just come up to me, as we are closing out with this workshop, and I will add it to your account, and you can test out RAG, see how it's going. Sorry that wasn't like that on there before, but I'll just get it resolved in your account right away. And I think you also have the ability to utilize one more fine-tuning job as well before getting to enterprise plan. But again, come talk to me. Let's connect, and maybe I can even squeeze in another fine-tuning job for you as well. So if you guys have any questions, I'll be more than glad to answer any. But for right now, that pretty much concludes like how to fine-tune a model with Prem AI. And also another thing to add to is I mentioned as well BitGPT, just in light again of EthSF. If you want to utilize BitGPT, which is just we utilize SLMs that are fine-tuned with Prem to we run SLMs that on web GPU as well, so you don't have to download them. And this is just a AI agent that is your own Web3 wallet that can work cross-chain, and you can just have a conversation with your wallet rather than having to open up a bunch of Chrome extensions or Coinbase or any of those other types of things. So if you go to terminal.bitgpt.xyz and you use the password Bitcoin, you'll be able to access the terminal and utilize BitGPT, see what it's like, and please leave us some feedback as well. And I don't know why this came out like this, but You guys can find me on GitHub, Twitter, LinkedIn. It's all Josh Alphonse or Joshua Alphonse, whatever one. And I also have in the QR code just different links for Prem, talking about like our investment rounds, talking about like the documentation, where we're going to be at. And also there's a feedback form on there. So if you'd like to leave us some feedback about what you feel about the platform, you can leave it there or leave it on Discord as well. So thank you guys so much for, taking the time to be with me today. And please, I'd love to hear what your experience is with using Prem and fine-tuning models on the platform. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I just want to say thank you guys for being part of our vision. We're going to have some more presentation and congratulations. Really exciting talk.
Yeah.
You can go around the block for Joshua. That would be great. I also want you raise your hand if you like pizza. Raise your hand if you don't want to. You want something else. Okay. Go, people. All right. I'll see if I can get the food order. Hopefully, it'll be here for 5 o'clock. Thank you again, Joshua, for speaking for us.
Wonderful. Yeah, pizza is always great, right? Have pizza all day, New York style. So, people, we're going to have like a 5-10 minutes break. If you want, use this time to chat, network, and all. We're going to be around here, and we return with 4:30 with a presentation about near AI, and what tools they are building, what kind of programs they have. Okay, for you to dive a little more into decentralized AI, building with swarm agents, training models. Okay, you're going to see all of that. We have some drinks. Pizza is coming, as Colin said. He's very focused now ordering pizza. You can see choosing the best flavor. So let's not bother him with that. And we're returning in 10 minutes or so. Okay. Thank you.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Can't tell if I'm getting audio here. Can you tune in right now? Yeah, it was working. Okay. Getting audio. Okay, we're getting audio now. For today, I guess maybe it didn't work yesterday. It should have. So let me pull up the X.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Hey.
kind of where I feel like Prem is pretty easy for like.
Yeah, I don't hear any sound from yesterday, but it shows audio on the thing.
So it is.
I guess not. Yeah, I went over there.
Well, I need to know the address though.
Oh, yeah.
But you literally just go here.
Unfortunately, the audio didn't work yesterday. We didn't double check it to make sure, but I guess you had that strange configuration. Maybe it didn't work. Today worked. No, we only recorded audio from your mic, but I didn't set it to the mic in StreamYard, so it was listening. Okay.
Leave it as the
Do you want me to present it? Or do you want? Yeah, I already have it hooked up.
It just takes and literally I can take a document and literally just go like see that PDF. Take a document like this and then just upload it. And then here what it does everything for you. Like that's the indexing.
Yeah, you're sharing screen.
Thanks. Appreciate it. It's not a big deal.
They'll do all the indexing and everything right there. And someone who's not a developer.
That's
And then like we have a whole rack pipeline for you and that work as well. And then from here what I can do is either go to the lab, add a repository, and add stuff here, right?
I think that's better. I'm gonna.
Oh, you're okay. You guys can keep that.
Yeah.
We're okay. Where's the mic?
Yeah. What? How do I?
It was plugged in before. Oh, it's plugged in there. Okay. So testing.
Yeah. So, I can send you
Testing. Great. Right. Let me do a quick test of it as well, just to make sure it was actually working. Pretty sure it was working. But I'll just double check it.
That's what you do back at the games.
Okay. Cool. It was working. We can cut it later. Maybe we got the audio somewhere else. I don't know. From his camera, yeah. So we can splice the audio in. It's fine. Boom.
It's been long enough, but all right. I
Don't trip on it.
Yeah. You want me to do an intro?
don't know.
Hey everyone, I just want to bring your attention to the stage. We have Jay Zalowitz from Near AI.
Howdy, y'all. Yeah. I'm gonna do my best to keep this as short and sweet as humanly possible because as a software engineer myself, I also have ADHD. Anyway, so quick brief on Near. Near is a not exactly a grandfather, but at least we've been around for a bit in the crypto space. We have 250 million plus transactions a month, multiple different highly used in terms of number of people systems built on us. We are targeting the ability to do over 1 million transactions a second this year. We have a sharded design. We have sharded smart contracts. And we have a whole bunch of really great developers in our community. And the way I describe it best to people who don't know of it is like we're the nerdy engineers of the crypto space. We're absolutely not the pump it, that one. That is not a thing Near does. We're positively just build stuff, which whether or not that's good for your market cap, I don't know. But we build things. So why is Near an AI company? Well, so first off, we kind of our CEO Ilya, who's that way some way, wrote one of the seminal papers, Attention is All You Need, which is responsible for transformers. If you've ever seen the acronym GPT, it's the third letter. So we kind of actually started as an AI company, but it turns out we needed an L1 that could actually do things and not take 10 minutes to transact or throttle itself when somebody tries to launch a presidential meme coin. So we had to build that. We have a highly scalable L1. And then we built chain abstraction, which basically invalidates the idea of, use my chain over use their chain. Well, now with Near, you're using every chain. And you can execute everywhere all at once. And we needed to build all those to get to the point where we can allow for user-owned AI to exist. Now, what's user-owned AI? I actually made this deck literally 15 minutes ago, so I did that in the wrong order. But we'll get to user-owned AI in a second. Let's talk about the paradigm shifts. And everyone loves that because, mobile, social, local, anyone around for that? Yeah, 2012, which apparently mobile phones was when the world was supposed to end, according to the Mayans. Okay, so we started with ARPANET and very trusted direct connections into things. And then we came to the World Wide Web. And now World Wide Web was really great because you could use it to find things and meme posts. Anyway, the early 1990s were weird. So we had all these siloed applications. That was great. And then we had search engines to go find it. And now we've had a recent paradigm shift again. We've gone from
a mobile website or a mobile app to agents just going to reach out and grab everything and do everything. So instead of just agents interacting, what Near is making the bet on is agents will have their own and be their own dynamic network. I jokingly call this Web 6, and I'm never going to make that one work. It's Web 2, Web 3, and AI. It's 6, right? No, it's never going to work. It's like making fetch happen. We think there's going to be a network of agents. There's going to be multiple discovery systems, multiple agent repositories, and they'll be hosted either in a secure environment, an insecure environment, a corporate environment. We acknowledge that all of these things will happen, but we have what we think is the best play on it. So we think your assistant is going to belong to you. And the only thing that your assistant is going to need to know is how to communicate it with a trusted execution environment. Now, in order to make a payment network work, an agent network work, you need a couple of things. You need payments, because assistants, stick with me here, and this is a very confusing word in the AI space, should assist instead of just answer. Answering's nice, and I love it when that happens. It's really great, and I went to Google for many years to do it. I'm a very expert Googler. But when you just get answers instead of being able to do an action, you're equivalently just doing what we were all doing. We need another stage, one that knows you, can ask what you're doing, know what you're doing, make the logical next steps, select things, and do it all in a way that doesn't link your data to some 3-letter organization or multiple-letter country, I guess. So agents need to be able to pay for things. Crypto isn't quite doing the job right now because there's not disputes in there. Agents hallucinate. That's bad. So you need disputes. Agents need to be able to discover each other, whether or not it's an agent or an assistant. It needs to be able to leverage all total created agents. That's how you're going to get faster, better than all these big behemoths. User data and shared memory needs to be done in a secured way that is only accessed inside of a secure enclave. And the hosting, for us, our bet is it should be free. Within Near AI, no one is going to pay for inference. Everyone in the world should have access to the sum total of all humanity's knowledge. And we think we can pay for that by having the payment rail pay for it. So we built the system to all run inside of confidential compute, so no one can see it. I'm gonna skip this for time, but so let's see if I can actually play this. So this is our app.near.ai. What we're going to show right now, and I think I have this at 2x speed, but let me make sure I do. Nope. Oh no, I clicked the wrong button. There we are. That's as large as I can make it because it's already there. So our assistant can reach out to anything inside of the Near AI Hub, and we're working with other people inside of crypto to make sure we can reach out to other ones. So what our assistant is doing, it's just like, hey, I want some headphones. So it's going to go and locate a headphone, not even a headphone, an Amazon shopping agent. That communicates, figures out everything from Amazon, finds out the pricing, asks for your details, and inside of your UI for your assistant, you can just buy it. All you need to do is start adding some of this information, and as more and more of that happens, that means it can execute on its own. And because it's inside of a TEE, and because all the code here is open source, you can actually just know that that's what it's going to do. Which means the discovery system can audit that and know that and only show that to the user. I have looped there, so I'm going to go to the next one and hit slideshow. Hopefully this doesn't break. I'm not used to other people's laptops with their hotkeys. make sure this is the right one. Nope. So we're trying to make sure the undifferentiated heavy lifting is dead for as many people as possible. What that actually means is you shouldn't have to make your own MCP server. You shouldn't have to make much of anything. You should be able to tell an agent to go do something. So we built a system where all you have to do is set that agent on an API docs, tell it what you want, and you have an agent that any assistant can call on. You can then combine that with, let's see if I can make the next thing. We have launched a free cloud operator that any agent can use. And our discovery system will fall back to that. That means all you have to do is ask a discovery system with 2 lines of code on our platform, and you will be able to do just about anything that doesn't have massive robots blocking. But we're mostly good on that. So this is it booking an Airbnb just by asking it to book something for EthSF. And that's integratable into every single one of your agents if you decide to build one with just 2 lines of code. It'll fall back to that worst case scenario. Try to keep moving as quickly as I can. Once again, the ADHD. We also have agents on our platform right now that are capable of handling money and going and making you a profit. Now, we assume that this is the most popular topic inside of Web3, so we're focusing on it less than taking the 350 to 500 million people in crypto onto 5.5 billion by being the agentic payment rail. But, if you want to make some money, there's an agent for that. Not financial advice. Okay, so things we're building. Smart systems to learn preferences, anticipate needs, and doing predictive search. That's a fun term, which is well documented on the internet. Making sure the agents take the 5, 10, 15, 20% of your time that you would normally hand over to an assistant. That product should be available for not just the rich, it should be available for everyone. Everyone's time should be freed up by AI. Instead of taking jobs, we're giving people their lifespan, which is kind of fun for me. I need more time. Our assistant is just basically constantly improving at this point, and we're working on agent swarms as a dynamic thing as opposed to a hard-coded thing. I'm going to skip this, but basically, we've been working on the entire bit as we put in the first thing. And if you're watching this in video, take a screenshot. It's lovely. All right, so that was all an elongated pitch for the following. We are a free inference hosting hub. We have gone out of our way to make sure it takes you only 5 minutes to create, list, do whatever an agent. Every single agent on our hub is individually addressable via an API. So you can embed these. You can make a custom agent here and embed it anywhere. We're giving it away. Free inference. As I said, the payment rail pays for it, so that's all fine. So the docs are with that little notebook. You're going to need to go there to download the CLI to do anything. Agent templates are where that plus sign is, and you're going to need to log in to be able to deploy anything. That's in the top right there. That's app.near.ai, by the way. Now, we have an agent search. We have about 619 as of today. We're growing at about 100% month over month on those. So you can search for any agent. And the reason I point that out is because all of the agents on our hub are open source. And that means if you click that develop button right there, you can clone anyone's agent that you already like and take inspiration from them and inspire a different agent that does more of that things. We have some really great examples from Amazon to some search, some vector, private vector DBs. These are all really quick and easy to get up. I wouldn't even I read our docs, they're useful, but I know how much developers like reading the manual. Go ahead and just clone, which, by the way, it's really easy to clone any of them into your local thing. You download that CLI, and it takes just one command to pull it down, one command to navigate to it. You open up your favorite IDE, you change it, and then you upload it, and it's live and available for you or anyone else to use. A quick note, metadata.json is how we do our listings. If you want our discovery system to find you, you're going to need to put an actual description in there. We do keep an immutable state once you've done an agent version. However, you can delist them. So if you do something wrong, like put a key or whatever, you can, it's in the docs, just search show entry and don't show the entry. That part can change, but you can't overwrite the last version of the code. And the reason why is because we want people to be able to hard code a version of an agent and be able to reliably use it without, I wanted to use, we'll call the agent leftpad. And then leftpad does something entirely different. You don't want leftpad to do something entirely different. You want leftpad to keep doing leftpad. That was a JavaScript joke, and I apologize for it. So you can use, we have 63 different models you can use. Some of them are in struct, some of them aren't. You can choose between them by using that model system over there. You can use Coinbase Agent Kit. You can use Eliza. You can use ours. We're working on bringing multiple frameworks up. We support TypeScript and Python. We're just trying to be the way everyone can deploy and list these things, because once again, our goal is making sure agentic payments actually provide this free inference, provide payments to open source models, provide payments to agent kits and front ends. We think the future of agentic AI should be built out there in the open and built out there for everyone. So with all that, thanks. Our Twitter's @NearAI, the site's app.near.ai, and if you're on Telegram and want to join our alpha group, it is NearAI Alpha.
I like that, NearAI. Give a round of applause for James Dabl. Can I get a selfie with my friend Jay?
Oh, heck yeah.
I have to admit, this is the guy that got me into crypto. It was 2017, and he invited me to, I don't know if it was a Burning Man event or a blockchain event. But there we go.
All right, thank you, Jay, for talking to the Agent Bootcamp. I hope to have Near as a partner in our long-term vision of Agent Camp. We need to embrace these decentralized AIs, and so I hope to see you more in our bootcamps. So thank you, Jay. I'm about to announce the most anticipated thing of the day, which is pizza. But I also want to make sure that everybody has the QR code. There's a QR code somewhere, and the QR code, I want you to scan the QR code so that you can. This QR code will bring you good luck, but also it will get you access to our demo day. So we're going to be doing a demo day this Friday at the Zoe House, which is 10 minutes walk from here, and you'll be very excited. Say what? QR code. I'm sharing the screen online for everybody online. So this QR code will get you into the demo day, as well as a special prize, which is the touching glass after party for EthSF that no one knows about. No one knows where it is, but you guys are the only people who know it's actually going to be right here after EthSF. We're going to have a little shindig with pizza, just like we do every day. We're going to have pizza at 5 o'clock because we've already been planning to do that, so we might as well do it on Sunday as well. So come eat pizza with us. Let's network. Let's chill out. If you want help on your project, I'm here. Mateus is here. RJ is here. Joshua's here. So we've got a lot of also amazing people in the crowd here. So meet the people around you. They might be the people that you want to win the hackathon with. They might be the people that you want to start a company with. If you want to fork my Dabl kit, I would be so honored to help you win this hackathon. Thank you guys. Let's go eat.
Come on.